Okay, welcome back everybody. We're continuing on here with the rule book. You can say this is part 2 or episode 2 of the Esports Drifting Association official rulebook version 1.1. So let's continue off here, which in this video I'm going to be explaining section 5, 6, 7, and 8. So starting off, number 5 is the tournament format. Let me zoom in here. Scroll up. Okay. The pro event will consist of a 16 driver double elimination. So this is explaining you have two losses and you're eliminated. So if you lose once, you get sent to losers bracket. So which means your day is not done yet, because if you looked at many other esports events, there's been people that have come all the way from losers and worked their way through the bracket and still win. So if you lose once, you're not eliminated. You just get sent to losers, and you just gotta work your way through losers to get to grand final. And in the grand final, if the dude in losers beat the dude in winners, it'll reset that part of the bracket, which sends the dude in winners to losers. So, long story short, the dude in losers have to beat the dude that's in winners twice to win the event. And as for the winner, if the winner beat the dude in losers one time, the event is over. So that's how double elimination or the double elimination format works. And this here is an example of a bracket, showing you an example how the bracket will look and everything. So I want to give you guys that. The AM event is simply as how we usually been running events, or how Forza or any other company's been running events. It's gonna be a 32 bracket, single elimination, one loss and you're out. Top 8 moves to pro. Moving on to the next page. This here shows you an example of how the bracket will look and everything. The word event, like I said, at the current moment is 64 driver invitation only based off placings, and this will also be single elimination, one loss and you're out. Team events will consist of 8 teams of 3 drivers per team, and first team to 2 wins in a battle wins. So for example, it's pretty much a best of 3 single elimination. So if, for instance, this is the best way I can explain it. If Team A wins Battle 1, Team B wins Battle 2, your third driver will be the tiebreaker to win that battle. So it's pretty much first to 2 wins. If you get 2 wold, you're out, or if you get 2-1, you're out. So pretty much the first team to 2 wins in that battle moves on. So that explains that. Moving on to section 5.5. Explaining to you qualifying and everything. In qualifying, you get 2 runs. This is pretty much no changing in this. You get 2 runs, best run counts. Each driver will get 2 minutes to get to the line and everything, and you get 2 non-consecutive runs. Pretty much, you go for your first run, come back to the starting line, and go for your second run. And there will be no practice runs. We're getting rid of practice runs to make sure everything goes smooth and fast as possible, because it's the driver's responsibility to practice before they come into the lobby. So drivers that get caught practicing or going for warm-up runs will get penalized for that. So, and most likely, if we catch you going for that run, it's gonna pretty much count as your first run. So I just want to let everybody know this. Tandem is it's same thing as a head-to-head format. You get 2 runs. The higher seed leads, the lower seed follows. Switch it up. The lower seed leads, and the higher seed follows. So you get 2 runs, and that's pretty much how tandem works. Lead car, you want to put down the best lead run as possible. Have the most, have angle, hit your clipping points, which is stay on line, and have style. That's the best way a lead car can to have a lead run. following car, you want to apply pressure as much as possible with also maintaining an angle, style, and also following the lead. Also stand on line following the lead car. Or it's not, if the lead car goes offline, use the lead car as a moving clipping point. So it's the follow car's duty to outdrive the lead car while doing all those criteria as best as possible. Moving on here. 5.6, lobby setup and procedures, explaining to you how the multiplayer lobby is going to work, or how that's going to function, which is going to explain to you in lobby of the game option rules of the game type, max players, laps, damage, collisions, the start type, and drive type. The overrides is if you click the RB button in those game options, it'll take you over to that, and we want the runway indicator turned yes, so that way it's turned off, and so that way it won't come up in people's screen. Car restrictions is also going to be later in the video explaining, but the PI index or the performance index is going to be limited to A class 600 PI or higher. So, which as for the weight, you cannot run no lower than 2,000 pounds. So your car must be 2,000 pounds or higher. Explaining that. How cars will be checked. This explains to you how we're gonna look at cars and everything, and explaining to you once we checked your car and once we inspected that car, once you get into that lobby, that car must have an organizer name on it. So explaining like it's in the tune by, it should say tune by initial die, tune by TUS Chunky, or etc. So it should have a name under one of the organizers. Moving on to warm-up runs, there will be no warm-up runs in qualifying or tandems. Like I said earlier, it's the driver's responsibility to practice before coming into the lobby or before the event starts. We will allow a redo of the run, but under these circumstances. Moving to the next page. If there's lag in a run, we will grant a redo, or if the driver stops before the restart marker, we will grant a redo. Now the following will not be granted a redo. If for instance you have equipment failure, this goes for like you have wheel issues or controller issues, like for your battery not being charged up enough, like please, this is your responsibility to make sure everything is ready on event day, because there's just no way that we can control that, because for instance, I mean, somebody could be lying and saying that their equipment is not working and may set it on purpose and give them a redo, and it turns out that their equipment is working just fine. So we eliminated all of that, and just like if something's wrong with your equipment or battery's not, I mean, that's going to be on you. So please make sure all that is working properly before you come into battle or qualifying. Also, spinning out on the course will not result in a redo. So please look at that properly and read it. 5.7 reserves. For easy, open, or M, reserves will be chosen based off your qualifying runs. So pretty much, if you place 33rd or below, we'll start from number 33, and if he accepts, he'll get moved in to replace that one driver. So if it still explains here in the paragraph or the three sentences. If an AM driver can attend, it's pretty much explaining to you all of that. For pro, if a spot is open or if a pro can't attend the event, a driver from the AM event placed from 9 to 16 will be chosen and will be moved up to take that driver's place. Now moving on to 6.1, judging breakdown. As for tandem, explaining to you as we will have 3 judges. One would be based, and it'll be based off 30 points. You have a max score of 30 points with 3 judges, and just how we will select winners is based off of three options. Just select driver A, driver B, or if a tie would be a one more time. So once the one more time is in place, the driver will go for another 2 runs, lead and follow, based off the higher seed leading and the lower seed follows. Moving on to the next page. explaining to you line, angle, and style. The line is honestly explaining to you, long story short, to explain all this in one simple, I guess you can say, I guess a little clunk. Pretty much hit your clipping points, hit your inside, hit your outside, hit your zones, outside zones, hit all that properly, and that's all that is referring to you as the line. And as you see here, if you read this, this explains to you what all this, the meaning of all of this, of the inner and outers and all of that. Angle. Throughout the course, you want to be showing as much angle as possible through the course, including including in transitions. You want to be showing, you want to be smooth as possible in transition, and steering adjustments is also to a minimum. So you want to have as much angle as possible with the least amount of corrections. Style. Now this is the most important thing out of the three. Style. Now this will be looked at on three criteria. Moving on to the next page to explain that. Let me zoom in here. Okay, it's pretty much bringing excitement. That's what style is. You want to have a good initiation with no mistakes, quick entry, good initiation, fluidity, keeping control of your car without making any corrections, and keeping your car lock to lock. Now, for controller users, we're going to be a little bit lenient towards that, but still, you want to look as smooth as possible on the course. So, wheel drifters, you want to be lock to lock as possible. So, commitment is keeping good throttle control throughout the course. Should be meaning no like hand braking or hitting the brakes on area where you shouldn't be having to hit it at. That's going to count against you. So you want to have good throttle control throughout the course. Wild taps or any type of extreme situation that we see, like if you coming off the wall tap, really good angle or anything like that, that goes towards style. Maintaining speed. Now, this is not judged on, but this goes towards our fourth judge, which is pretty much as looking to as the telemetry. I call him the telemetry judge. So they'll be looking at your speed and for any brake checking or anything like that. So you want to maintain a good speed and throughout the course. Now we will have areas on the course where if you drop below a certain speed, you will get deducted for it. Like for instance, let's take for example Road Atlanta, the entry or going up the hill, entering the keyhole or the loop. If you have a certain speed to maintain going through that area of the course, so please, you want to maintain a proper speed. We're not saying drag racing or anything. You want to maintain a proper speed going through the course, so that way the follow car is able to follow it. Now, passing is allowed. Passing is only allowed if the lead car is off the suggested line. So, if you feel that you go past a dude and you know you can stay on line going past them, you can take that risk and go past them and nothing will get counted towards you. But if the lead car is on the right line, for example, if he's on the outside zone or outside clipping and the follow car decides to go inside and try to go for a pass, that is illegal. That is an illegal pass. So you will get counted off for that, and most likely it'll be counted to you as a disadvantage. So please be careful when passing and not to pass. Collisions will be looked at a part of whoever at fault it. For instance, if the lead car is at fault for causing a contact, for instance, brake checking or anything, or if the follow car is just going too fast and just T-bones the lead car or just hits the car off course, that will be handled depending on the driver that would be at fault to that. Little contact is allowed but not encouraged. So if you have that slight rub, because I mean rubbing is racing. I mean, if you have that slight rub, it won't get counted towards you as much, but it's not encouraged. If a driver spins out, lead or follow, if anybody spins out, the driver that hasn't spun out needs to finish the run regardless. So we had people in the past that seen people hit, and if they, I guess they just turned around for the inference for the, I guess whatever reason why they turned around, and we gave them a 0 for it. Now if both drivers spin or they both crash, I mean that's just a whole nother situation. But if the lead car can keep going or if the follow car can keep going, just finish the run. Moving on to the pace roll. The pace roll is pretty much your 50 roll. It's pretty much you have a certain, yeah, you have to go and maintain a certain speed until that pace zone ends. And once you get past that area, you're allowed to speed up and start drifting. Now restart markers, I didn't really see a lot of this used last season, but I would like for it to be used a lot more often, cause that's how a gap is created. Is sometimes off the road is just how a gap is created, and I tell follow drivers this all the time. If you're underpowered, you can jump the road a little bit, or jump the lead car just a little bit to make sure you can get up to speed. And if you still feel like you're not up to speed, you feel like you're getting pulled away from after the road, you have until a certain area to stop the car or at least show that you're slowing down your car. So, please, drivers, use this restart marker to your advantage you're following, because you feel like you ain't getting a good, if you ain't feel like you're getting a good roll off the pace roll, excuse me, you have that restart marker to use that, and we'll grant you a redo. 6.2 scoring breakdown. For qualifying, you have 3 judges, or you can say 4, but the fourth judge is telemetry judge. So you have 3 judges, consist of a max of 100 points, and it will be turned off. Line is 25, angle is 25, and style is 50, which being the most important. Judge 1 will have 25 to the line and 5 to style. Judge 2 will have 25 to angle and 5 to style, and Judge 3 will have 40 to style, which will sum it up to 40, 30, 30. You add that up, which will be 100 points per run total. That's just the max you can get. For a tandem, you have 3 judges consisting of 30 points, and Judge 1 will have 5 points per run, Judge 2 5, Judge 3 5 points per run, which totals up per run a maximum of 15 points per run, which will be the total of 30 points. Moving to the next page, as I explained that, if to win in tandem, you have to win by more than 2 points. For instance, you have to win if the score is 25, 22. Driver A wins that. Driver A has 25, driver B has 22. Driver A will wins that. If for a reason for a one more time, the only way a one more time will be granted if it's 2 or fewer points. For instance, if driver A has 25 points, driver B has 24 points or 23 points, that would be a redo. Or I said a redo, but a one more time, excuse me. So please read that accordingly. This is how we would do deductions and everything. Small deduction, well, like if like his speed is noticeably lowered and we catch your telemetry just shows saying that you're slowing down in areas, there'll be a deduction or a small deduction, small correction, and so as straightening, bad transitions, or like transitioning slow, or corrections in transitions, that would be go to it towards as a small deduction, depending on the level of it. Any jerky motion or any twitching in the car, this is if it's not lagging. Any twitching will result into a small deduction. Medium deductions is counted to as if one wheel is off course in a non-drop area, or 2 wheels is off course on an area where you can drop tires, that will be a medium deduction. Mid correction such as straightening will be a medium deduction. If angle is not, I guess you can say, if a car starts to shallow up in angle, depending on the level it is, it will be a deduction. The place where I guess comes same to as the previous bullet, but explaining to more in depth. It comes to as if you're shallow, you're going to get deducted for it. Poor fluidity counts as a medium deduction. Getting good angle, like you're getting good angle, then somehow through the last half of the course you sort to shallow angle. That will be counted. That will be counted off to as a medium deduction. Or if you're offline or missing your clipping points, that is a medium deduction. Moving on to the next page of the medium deductions. If a mistake causes somebody, like such as, like I said, like if you miss your shift or miss your gear, which causing you to screw up speed because of that, even though you didn't mean to do it, but if the telemetry judge sees that you missed the shift or do something that the car is like, it upsets the car somehow and it messes up the follow car, that will be counted towards you as a medium correction or medium deduction, excuse me. Shallow, as for the follow car, shallowing up to catch the lead car will result in a medium deduction. Um, Gap pulled down after the run will be looked at as accordingly as well, depending on if the driver lead car shallowed up through the entire run to make a gap, or if the lead car throughout the run is making a gap, it would be counted to you as a medium deduction. Moving on to high deductions or zeros. If you have 2 wheels off course on a non-drop area or 3 or more wheels off on a drop area, that will be a 0. Driving off course, double entry, abrupt stop, stalling will result into a 0. Um, Depending on the level of contact, abrupt changes in the vehicle drift or causes a spin. Depending on how it's looked at, it can be a high deduction or it can be a 0. A heavy correction most likely will be a heavy deduction or a high deduction. Too many adjustments by a handbrake, depending on the level of handbraking it is, so like depends on if it mixes up the follower car, it can be counted as a high deduction or a 0. Nudging motion, or I can say pretty much sandbagging. If you're caught not running your car all out, you will be deducted for that, and depending on the level of sandbagging, it would be a 0. Illegal overtaking will also be counted as a high deduction or a 0, depending on the level. 6.3, protesting is allowed, but your protest must be a valid protest, which means you must have proof of showing of wanting to submit that protest. So any below, such as tire drops, like 2 or 3 more wheels off course, that may result into a 0 run. Straightening. Moving on to the next page. Hitting a cone, course marker, double entry, abrupt stop, stalling, resulting in contact, which I mean contact, or you see any contact or any lag, that will result in that will allow you to make a protest. Excuse me. So moving on to section 7. It's explaining you the event schedule and everything, which will be our first event will be February 17th through the 18th. And then I was going to scroll down and let you look at the event dates and everything. And as you notice here, each event is 3 weeks to a month apart. So it's going to get everybody comfortable to the dates and everything and all of that. Moving to the next page. Time schedule. Registration ends 1 to 2 days, and most likely this will be changed. It will be a week before the qualifying date. So, but depending on if we don't get a lot of people, maybe 1 to 2 days. But all of that will be placed in the sign-up form, so you don't have to worry about that, everybody. The open qualifying event will be held the Saturday on the weekend before the actual battles of the event and everything. Open event battles is on Friday. Pro event battles is on a Saturday. And if the reschedule, if for instance, if Xbox goes down or something comes up, this is where 7.2 comes in place. You can, or we are going to let everybody know and inform everybody 3 days to a week early before the event if times change or if the event changes a date. So don't worry about that. Everybody will be informed about that. Moving to number 8, the last part of this video, the tracks and courses. 8.1, we have the complete list in order here, going from as number 1 Long Beach, 2 Road Atlanta, Indy, Monza, Lime Rock, Catalunya, and Sonoma. So all of it is in an order. So it's going based off the dates, and pretty much Long Beach will be the first event. We'll be going through that all in order. So whatever you see like this is going to be the order, the dates, and the order of the events. So you don't have to worry about that. So that concludes part 2 of the video explaining the rule book. Section 3 or episode 3 or part 3 will cover sections 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video and see you guys in the next episode.